Before I retired at 59, sure, I had some reservations and fears. Nothing dramatic, just quiet ones that sit in the back of your mind. Would I miss the paycheck? Would I lose my sense of relevance? Would I wake up one day feeling regretting walking away too early? And perhaps the biggest one, was I actually ready for retirement? But something interestingly happened. Like most of the things I thought I'd fear about retirement never really showed up. So in this video, I want to share with you the 5 things I genuinely thought I'd struggle with when I retired at 59, but didn't. And after the 5, I'll share the biggest surprise retirement gave me, something I never expected, so be sure to hang around for that one. If you're new here or you're a regular viewer, my name's Paul and thanks for stopping by. Now let's get stuck in. One of the biggest psychological hurdles for sure was letting go of the paycheck. From a financial perspective, I'd done the homework, I'd done the numbers, I'd planned carefully with an advisor, and I knew on paper I was able to do it. But there's still something deeply reassuring about having a salary arrive each month, or fortnight as it was in my case. It was guaranteed security, so I naturally did wonder whether I'd feel uncomfortable without it. But interestingly, the opposite happened. In retirement, I actually spend less. And having been retired for almost a year now, I think the reason is simple. And it's because your newfound freedom becomes your dopamine hit. Because when you're working, spending money often becomes a reward for putting up with the job. You know, you have dinners out as a reward, a bit of a treat, weekends away, buying things that make you feel a bit better. But when your time is your own, you don't feel the same need to compensate yourself like you used to. And after a while, and somewhat strangely, that fortnightly paycheck becomes less important than you once thought it was. Another thing I struggled with before retiring was the idea of losing relevance. Work was a way of making you feel needed. People rely on you, problems come to you, decisions pass through you. And I'll admit, part of me wondered whether I'd miss that feeling. Letting go of that identity took a little adjustment, because you tend to think that you still offer something valuable in their eyes. But something interestingly happened. Life at work moved on very quickly, and before long, they'd forgotten about me, which strangely enough made the transition easier, because you realise something important. The world doesn't stop when you leave your job, and your life, more to the point, doesn't need to revolve around it anymore either. Another thought that crossed my mind was whether I'd regret leaving too soon, because I was wondering if there was one more role I could have taken, one more challenge, one more interesting project. But what I've realised since retiring is this: opportunities never really stop. If I ever wanted to work again, even part-time, I guess that option would still exist. But the trade-off is having in front of you good years while you're healthy, curious, and free to explore life. And those years are more limited. So in the end, retirement gave me something incredibly more valuable, and that was time, especially while I'm still able to enjoy it. This is probably the fear that people talk about the most, and for me, it was my missing link. And that is, what do I do all day? It was a question I have heard quite a lot, and if I'm honest, I wondered about it myself, because work gives you your life structure. You wake up, you go somewhere, there's meetings, there's deadlines, problems to solve. And without that structure, it's easy to imagine long, empty days. But retirement sure has a way of filling itself. The mornings become slower, you follow your curiosity a little more. Projects just seem to appear, interests develop, and your days begin to shape in a different rhythm. And before long, you realise something surprising. You're not trying to fill your time. You're actually just simply living it. All of these fears really came down to one bigger question, and that was I really actually ready to retire? And after doing the planning and thinking about it for the last few years, the moment still feels like a leap, because retirement isn't just a financial decision. It's also an identity shift, and above all, it's a permanent lifestyle change. So in the end, I just decided to trust the preparation I'd done and just take the plunge, because my thinking was simple. If I needed to, I could always go back and do something part-time. But what I didn't want to do was to look back later and wish I'd taken the step earlier. And that's what a lot of retirees say. And you know what? And thankfully, that backup plan was never needed. I thought I'd throw this one in for good measure, because the so-called pre-retirement fears actually had a silver lining. And that was a pleasant surprise I hadn't expected. And that was the amount of learning and personal growth that happens once both your time and capacity opens up. When work is removed from the centre of your life, something interestingly happens. Your mind has space again. Not only do you read and think more, but for me especially, it was curiosity that became my new best friend. And now I find myself exploring ideas I'd, for one, never had the time for, but amazingly too, stuff I'd never imagined I'd be interested in, like, for example, doing this. And you start growing in ways again that have nothing to do with your career, and more to the point, growth that's exclusively for yourself. So for me, that's probably been the most rewarding part of retirement. So with that just said, guys, I'm curious about something. If you're approaching retirement, what's the thing you think you might fear the most? And if you're already retired, did any of these fears turn out to be different from what you expected? Share your experience in the comments, because I do read every one of them, and the conversations that happen there are often just as valuable as the video itself. Thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one, and bye for now.